This is going to sound crazy, and for a lot of you, you're going to just like not get it, and that's fine. When you make art, you are ahead of your time. Now, that idea alone is going to freak a lot of you out because so many of you think that you're out of time, that you're too late, that you're past it, blah, 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 blah. If the idea has come to you out of the ether, it's because you are ahead of time and you have the perfect amount of time to make it. You're so ahead of your time, you don't understand how ahead of time you are. That was really the whole story behind Alice in Wonderland and the White Rabbit saying, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late. Creativity is wild. It is feral. It is not linear, okay? That's such a backwards way for people who work 9 to 5s to understand, right? Nobody knows what they're going to make. It is a complete illusion. And every time, I promise you, every time, if you think you have an idea of what you're going to make, 9 times out of 10, it will be completely different, or at least be 50% different, okay? Because as you're making art, the structure changes. The structure changes because time collapses. When you are an artist, you collapse time. That's why when you're doing something that you love and you're in the flow state, okay, time moves so fast and you're like, shit, I've just spent 3 hours writing or making clothes or painting. It goes so fast, but it doesn't mean that you're aging, okay? Just hold that thought for a second. Being an artist transcends time. Now, to most people, that's really scary because in capitalist structures, everything is pitted against time. Next day delivery, you've got to do this by this time. Everything is about time. Do you understand that there are places on Earth where people don't know how old they are and they don't care? There are children in Sephora who are 10 years old thinking that they are old and putting anti-aging products on their skin. Stop subscribing to this concept of time. It's ageist and it will rot your soul. Time isn't real. You don't know how old you are. You don't care. All you're doing is just living. That's how you make art. You don't worry about your age. You don't worry about what you've got to do next. You don't worry about running out of time. Time has to go out of the window. Artists make art because they have to make it and they don't care what is coming next. They don't know how they're going to do it, why they're doing it. So many people cut themselves off, degrade themselves, and then ruin their creative process by trying to figure out what the creative idea is in the beginning. Why would you know what the creative idea is in the beginning? That's not how this works. You have to go through the process of making it, because as you're making it, you're going to get these new ideas and new little things that are all going to bring it together. In order to make art, you need to be nimble. That means that you are quick to action. Because if you start thinking about how you're going to bring this idea into life, your brain will find a reason not to make it. Art is about pushing the brain to the side and using the body as a vessel and as a conduit for creativity. You have to understand little bits at a time because you're only human. You don't know what you're making. That's the point. You make it as you're making it. People who are great artists stop trying to control everything. They stop trying to control the process. They understand that they are a conduit, that the art isn't even theirs. It comes from the ether. It's not theirs. This egotistical notion that it's your art is an illusion. And actually, if you start understanding that it isn't your art, you're just the vehicle, right? You're just the instrument. You're just the lightning rod to get this information out, to get this art out. yeah, you will stop taking it so personally when people don't like your art. You will stop taking it so personally when people criticize you. You will stop taking it as a character assassination, because it's just a concept that you've brought from the ether. And most people don't make art because they don't know what they're going to make. You're never going to know. You're never going to know. It's a secret. It's a secret between you and the universe. And the universe cannot give you all of that information. It can't. Because if it was to give it to you, you wouldn't do it. You go, oh my God, that's going to take me years. Oh my God, that's going to take me months. Oh my God, that you'll find a reason to get into the capitalist mind structure. To go, I don't want to do this. This is going to take too much time. That's why you can't instantaneously grasp what it is that you're meant to make. But I'll tell you this. If you make the art, you are ahead of your time. It's really beautiful, actually, when you think about it. So if you're somebody who doesn't know how they're going to be a painter, a writer, a filmmaker, great, you're not meant to. In fact, just run with the excitement of what you have. Run with the thrill. Now, I get that it's lonely. I get that a lot of people are not going to understand that your day-to-day life is going to be somewhat formless, right? But the people around you who love you just want you to be yourself. And for most artists, this is them being themselves. Making art is who they are. It's not even a choice. Some of us have these creative ideas for years. Years. And they will not leave you alone. They will not leave you alone until you make them. Okay? Because you are the correct person to make the art. And we can get all in our heads and be like, no, this is too big, this is too much. But you are the correct person. And you know that you're the correct person because it feels good. It might feel scary, but it also feels really good, right? Oh, I love it so much. I love it. It's so exciting to bring something into reality. That is what we are meant to be doing here. We're meant to be creating. That is evolution, right? That is how we evolve. Please don't slow down the process for us, all right? I promise you the reason that society is the way that it is because it's forgotten this. Your ideas are there for a reason. They may seem random, they may seem obscure, but they are there for a reason. Every time you sit down to make art and you have just like a rough sketch or you jot down a few words or perhaps you're stitching something and you don't get very far, always thank yourself and go, oh, thank you, that was great. Because you don't know what you could have just started. You don't know what you could have just started. I truly believe that we are at a turning point for society. This turning point for AI, I'm not scared of it. I think it's brilliant. I think it's going to be brilliant. Obviously, there are different types of AI, okay? But I'm talking about the ones that would actually help us get to this place where we can be creatives, right? Where we can actually do the thing that we need to do now, right? If you're not an artist and perhaps you're watching this and you're really intrigued by what I'm talking about, right? You understand the notions of what I'm saying when it comes to capitalism. Say if capitalism and the whole construct was to collapse tomorrow, what would you do? Right? Art is about an exchange of value. So what would you have to offer the world? Rather than wait for it to collapse and then think about it, can you think about it now? Can you put the wheels in motion now? Rather than wait for everybody else to do the work for you, instead of being a spectator, be a leader. And in fact, if you've gotten this far in this video, you know what you should be doing. The sad thing is that the same reason that this is lonely is that you're not going to have people tell you this. You're not going to have people rally you. Most people, I promise you, do not have the support that you think a lot of people are getting. Very few people get the support that we need to make art. There are not many people who want to lead the way. Plenty who want to watch and spectate. And that time is over. So if you know you have ideas, you don't have to understand how you're going to make them. Stop focusing on the how. It doesn't matter. You will figure it out. I'm telling you, you will figure it out. The point is to start. It's like you get this invisible thread, or like this red thread suddenly just appears, and you pull it, and then you pull it a little bit more, and then you pull it a little bit more, and then you pull it more, and then suddenly you've got enough thread to make something. But you can't see where this thread is coming from. You just have to trust that it will start to come through. I truly believe that when people are being passionate, when people are getting to do what they want, when they're being authentic to their nature, right? I think that's a really important thing, being authentic to their nature. What is your nature? I am a very curious person. I love to see what is over there. What happens next? Curiosity is in my nature. What is in your nature? What intrigues you? What can you just not get enough of? What fascinates you to the point where you could talk about it like I am now for 20 minutes? What is so important to you that you cannot stop talking about? That is what you should be focusing on. That is the art that you should be making. This has been State of the Artist. This is a very different structure to the type of videos that I normally make. And I decided to shoot from the hip because I don't like structures. And I don't do things by the book. It's boring. I like novelty. I love change. I love it. Most people hate it. They can't grasp that the world is constantly changing. They want it all to stay the same. How dull, how boring. What is on the tip of your tongue right now? What is whispering? What's that shiver? Whatever it is, I want you to trust yourself. Again, something that these systems don't like. Self-belief, self-respect, your own passion, your own leadership. Be curious.